Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. So today I wanted to do our video just a little bit differently. I ran to the grocery store to pick up something, and while I was there I went over to the floral department. So here in our town we have a grocery store called Kroger, and Kroger has a really large floral department with lots of different flowers. Not quite what Trader Joe's is, but it does have pretty good flowers. Well, they have a discount section, and in the discount section they had several different bouquets of flowers, and I thought that I would purchase one of those discounted bouquets and I would tell you how to squeeze a good bit of life out of your flowers. So this was a $10 bouquet. Just mixed flowers. It's got some longer lasting blooms in there. And I bought it for $2.45 on discount. And so I wanted to show you how for $2.45 you can get several days out of these flowers and you can enjoy them. So I just picked up, this is just a ball mason jar. I filled it with some water, and the flowers come with a little packet of flower food. Now, I added flower food to my water before I brought it in here, but you can open this package and add just a little bit of this package into your water. I would save the rest of it, put it in a little bag, and put it in a drawer. And you can add just a little bit more to your water, and it will make your flowers last longer. Now, if you do not have flower food, you can absolutely use things that you have at your house. So fresh water, a little bit of table sugar, like white regular sugar, and a touch of bleach. Now the bleach kills the bacteria and the sugar feeds the flowers, but those are just some easy way to keep your flowers lasting longer, is using a little flower food. Next, these bouquets come with no greenery. So I went out into our yard and I harvested some nandina. Now, nandina is a shrub that we have growing here at the flower shop. I also have this growing at home. I really like the look of nandina because it's kind of lacy and it does hold up really well in cut flowers. So when you pick up flowers from your local grocery store, instead of purchasing a bouquet of greenery, go out and harvest some greenery out of your yard if you have some. It works wonderful, and it was free. Okay, now let's look at these flowers really quickly. Some of them are kind of ooey gooey. So the first flower that did not last is the sunflower. So the sunflower is completely spent. So I'm just going, well, let me show you what I would do for this sunflower is pull off all these petals. Just take and pull the petals off, and I'm just going to throw the petals away. But if you pull the petals off, you're going to be left with the disc of the flower, just the dark center. You can absolutely use this in your bouquet. It's just a fun, creative way to use what you have, and I think that little disc is really fun. So that's how we're going to use the sunflower. Mini carnations. We lost a head here. I don't know what we lost. I think it's a standard carnation. It is not in our flowers, so I think we lost that one. Mini carnations, long-lasting flowers as long as you take good care of them. These, even though they were in the old package and they were discounted flowers, will last a really long time. So mini carnations, wonderful thing to purchase on discount. My Alstroemeria lily, it's a pretty color. I will say it's beginning to fade, but it is a pretty long-lasting bloom, so that's good. So a pretty Alstroemeria lily. It does have, you can tell it's been bumped and bruised a little bit, but we'll give it a fresh cut and it should last for us. We have 2 stems of daisies. So one is just standard daisies with yellow center, and this one is called a cushion daisy, or a cushion mum, and it just has more petals than the standard daisy. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove some of that greenery. It's kind of yucky. And then I'm going to remove any of the blooms that look spent. Go ahead and cut those off. I'm going to take my little snips and cut those off. Okay, so any of the blooms that are spent, go ahead and cut those out. Next, I'm going to take my daisy stem. It actually looks pretty good. And I'm going to remove any of that greenery that's kind of yucky. You can see how it's got some that's kind of yucky. Go ahead and pull that off. Clean those stems really well. Next, we got in some statice. Now, the one thing about statice, and it's a little ooey gooey. So the one thing about statice that I find is it doesn't really like to be close, in real close contact in plastic. Now, what I'm going to do, it's got some ooey gooey on the stems, and so I'm just going to take my floral knife and I'm just going to strip that stem. Now, this stem, statice has almost like little flags of greenery that grows on that stem, and so I just stripped it off. And so I stripped off anything that was kind of yucky. So that statice is pretty. And then we have a rose. Now with my rose, I'm going to go ahead and pull off the greenery that's faded, and I am going to pull off some of these petals because our petals have some bumps and bruises, so I'm going to pull those off. Now my rose is beginning to fade. You can see it faded some, but I'm going to go ahead and add it into our bouquet and see how long it'll last for us. I am going to do one little thing. I'm going to take a piece of florist wire. I'm going to cut it in half. So this is 21 gauge florist wire. You don't necessarily have to have florist wire. You can have paddle wire, just any type of wire. And what I'm going to do for my rose is I'm going to take my wire. I cut it, this is about 1/4 of a stem of florist wire. So I'm going to take that wire and I'm going to press it right into the calyx. The calyx is the little swollen part up underneath the head of the rose, and I'm just going to wrap that right around that stem. That's just going to help give some stability to that stem, help to hold that little head up. Okay, so those are our flowers that we got for $2.49, I believe. $2.45. Okay, so I've added a little bit of flower food into my vase, and I'm going to take some greenery that I cut out of my yard. This again is called Nandina. It is a little shrub that grows, and I love it because I love its little laciness. So I'm just taking my Nandina and I'm using a floral knife to cut those stems kind of at an angle, and I am just tucking that little greenery right down into that water. Now when you are designing with greenery, you want to make sure that you try to keep that greenery out of the water. And the reason you do that is the water aids in the growth of bacteria. The greenery aids in the growth of bacteria. So you want to try really hard not to get greenery down in your water. Now, sometimes that happens and it's okay. If you'll just gather those flowers out and remove the greenery, it works well. So next, what I'm going to come in, so we have, let's see, everything is we have one of each thing except our mums, our chrysanthemums. They're both the same color, not the same variety, but that works. So I'm going to take my daisies. I'm going to cut off a lot of this stem. Now the stem kind of has a little bit of ooey gooey, so cut that off. And I'm just going to tuck my stem of daisies in. Next, I'm going to take my little chrysanthemums. Chrysanthemums are cushion mums, and daisy mums are both in the chrysanthemum family. These are the same color, and they're long-lasting flowers. So if you ever want a long-lasting bouquet, daisies and chrysanthemums are wonderful for long-lasting bouquets. So I kind of cut them shorter. Next, I'm going to come in with my One Pretty Astro. I'm also going to cut it short. You're going to see me cut the stems off of all of the flowers because the shorter the stem, the easier it is to drink the water. Because, of course, it doesn't have this long of stem to go up. The water doesn't have to travel so far to get to the head of the flower. Now, the older your flowers are, I would say the shorter I would cut those stems, because it aids in that water being absorbed. It's just easier for the flower. So our astro and our 2 daisies. Next, we'll take our pretty rose. And again, I'm going to cut it kind of short. And I'm going to tuck it to the side. And then we have our pretty pink mini carnations. Now, the wonderful part about the carnations is they do have longer stems. So I'm able to pull them apart, and we have lots of blooms that we can spread out throughout our arrangement. So I'm going to take the larger stem, I'm going to cut it, I'm going to tuck that sweet little mini carnation right down in. That was just a little bud that I added. And so you can see I'm just kind of taking these blooms and I'm going all the way throughout the arrangement. I kind of went all the way around with those sweet little mini carnations. Next, we're going to take our sunflower that we pulled all the petals off, and I know that's not something that you normally do, but when we pulled the petals off that were very, very faded, we are able to still use the disc of the flower, and it's kind of fun and different. So I'm going to take and cut that stem short. I'm going to strip off a little bit of this outer part of the stem, and I'm going to tuck that little disc of that sunflower, if I can get it in there, right down in to our vase. I just kind of tucked him in. Next, we're going to come in with our status. So status comes in lots of colors. It is a type of filler flower. It comes in lots of colors. It comes in a pink and a peach. It comes in white and shades of the purple. I think status is really pretty. Now, the only thing about status is when I order it from Budsy, I have to get a lot of it. And so it doesn't like to be close together. It wants you to spread it out. So it's a little hard for me to keep fresh in my cooler just because I need it to be tight. I took that status and I cut it into smaller pieces, and I just tucked it around in my little arrangement. I'm going to adjust just a little bit. Clean up my mess. I'm going to add a little bit more of our Nandina to our vase. So I'm just going to take it and break it apart into smaller little pieces. This is kind of a woody stem, so I'm using some snips to cut it. Tuck that down into my vase. Now, most of the time when you get your flowers from the grocery store, they usually give you one stem of each type of flowers. Now, the difference in a florist is very seldom are we ever going to put onesies in a vase. We're always going to have multiple stems of the same flower that we tuck into a bouquet. But this is a fun, easy way to have some fresh flowers in your home for very inexpensive. Again, I spent $2.25 or 45 cents. I keep messing that up, don't I? $2.45 for this small bouquet. Now, here's the way to keep it fresh longer. Is you're going to want to take, it did have this one stem of Israeli ruscus, so I'm going to stick that in the top. Israeli ruscus is extremely long living, and so I'm going to stick that one little stem of Israeli right in the top. Now, here's how you're going to make these flowers last even longer. Every other day, I want you to take your bouquet and pull it out of the vase. Pull it out of whatever vessel you have it in. I want you to give those stems a good cut. Just take some sharp snips. Give those stems a really good cut, and I want you to fill your vase up with fresh water. Add a little bit of your fresh flower food into your water. Give these a good cut and then drop them right back in. Now, as the flowers begin to fade, remove those from the arrangement. So when that rose, the rose will be the first to go. When the rose begins to fade, go ahead and pull it out. The more you remove the faded flowers, the longer the flowers that are lasting will last, if that makes sense. So there is a very simple, pretty $2.45 bouquet from the grocery store in the discount section. So don't discount the discount flowers. They are a simple, easy way to bring home a little bit of color and to enjoy some flowers for just a few days. Guys, I hope this helps. If you have any questions about how we do things here at Flowers by the Bunch, you can always ask. We would love to answer your questions. I hope you have an amazing day. Be sure to do me a great big favor. Hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video, and let me know down below what you liked best about this video. And if you didn't like the video, I'd like to know why you didn't like it. I hope you have an amazing day, and we will see you soon. Thanks, guys.